My Occupational Therapy Journey by Madeline Levy. I would describe my occupational therapy journey as being like moving mountains. I have made many sacrifices to get here, and there have been times when my journey has felt like an uphill struggle. There have been other times when my journey has been inspiring and reminded me over and over again why occupational therapy is the only career I will ever want or need. One of my unique character traits is that sometimes, if I am passionate about something, I fail to use a linear narrative to tell stories. Therefore, I will use the CMOP model, Politage Co. et al. 2007, to structure my journey. I have chosen this model because it puts spirituality at the centre of the model, and I am a very spiritual person. Being a pagan, I am very connected to the environment and the natural energies of the universe. In the PEO model, Law et al. 1996, the environment is highlighted as an important factor when attempting to know how to support individuals to enhance occupational performance. I believe that I intuitively know how to support individuals to best use the resources around them to support occupations that they need and want to do. By reading the environment, one can see what needs to be changed in order to positively improve health and occupational participation. Through doing this course, I have an understanding of why I am doing the things that I do, and I also have a language to describe this to other professionals in MDT settings. I also believe that an individual's values are a representation of their spirituality. Occupational therapy values are holism, empowerment, viewing each person as a unique individual, equity, respect, and client-centered care. Willard and Speckman, 2014. I spent many hours soul-searching before I retrained and came to the conclusion that occupational therapy is the only career which even comes close to matching my values. I would go one step further to say that one has to embody their values in the work that they do and in every interaction that they have with others. How does one embody empowerment? I will leave that question open for the listener. Moving on to the cognitive aspect of the model, I previously had 2 degrees. The first was in Drama and English Literature, and the second was a Playwriting MPhil B, which was a master's degree in philosophy equivalent. It was during that research that I was trying to attempt to find out how to use drama to raise awareness of conditions such as dissociative identity disorder. My research led me down the path of working in care, and I gained a job as a community care assistant working with elder adults. Whilst working in the medium secure hospital, I found my love of occupation. I started to develop an entrepreneurial flair, and I supported service users to attend recovery forum and listening to music groups. I ran morning meeting and I redesigned the ward rules so that they were more accessible for service users. I created individualized occupation-focused timetables for the service users, focusing on occupations that they enjoyed. I enjoyed all of these activities so much that I began to shadow the drama therapist and the occupational therapist on the ward to gain more experience. Moving on to the affective part of the model. The affective component of the model is about how we feel in relation to emotional and social functions. Adams et al. 2017, page 51. Doing this course has helped me to create a professional identity and has increased feelings of self-confidence and efficacy. Due to challenges with restraining at work, I was beginning to develop low self-esteem. Mandora states that one's sense of self-efficacy is the idea of how well we feel that we can complete tasks. Mandora 2006, page 165. Seeing myself achieve throughout the degree, such as speaking at conferences, being asked to contribute to a research project on my contemporary second-year placement, facilitating a project to support the filming of videos for content for a new module, becoming a professional theatre company, and going live on air at Switch Radio with my new radio play have all contributed to enhancing feelings of self-confidence and efficacy. Further increasing feelings of self-efficacy was when I was promoted to activities assistant in the same hospital. I worked on the older adults ward, and my role was to supervise hot drinks assessments and to support with breakfast cook sessions. Further achievements were being part of a team that organised the summer and Christmas parties for the service users. I supported my boss with ward round, and I supported in demonstrating service user activities from an occupational perspective. After much encouragement from the MDT team, I applied to go to university to study occupational therapy. Moving on to the environment aspect of the model. In the CMOP model, the environment is split into 4 sections: the physical, the institutional, the cultural, and the social. I will now talk about institutional environments. A medium secure unit is an institutionalized environment with set roles and behaviors. Going from one institutionalized environment into another, which was the university, was challenging for me, as the university has its own set standards of behavior which you are to adhere to. I also find student culture to be challenging, as most of the students on the course were younger than me. Nursing culture to me is challenging because due to the current political climate and restraints, I often find that person-centered care is lacking in nursing environments. This meant that a module where I had to work collaboratively with allied health professionals was challenging to me. I learnt a lot during that module, including about multi-professional team working and about the skills and assets of other disciplines. My social environment was lacking during first year, and I found it a struggle because I was away from my friends and my partner. It was during a trip to South Africa in the second year that I truly started to cultivate meaningful friendships. A group of students were asked to study cultural competence. Culture is described as the ideas, customs, and social behavior of a particular group or peoples. Roebuck, 2017, 175. Cultural competence involves an awareness of one's own worldview, being able to understand, communicate with, and effectively interact with people across cultures. Cultural competence is also developing positive attitudes towards cultural differences, acquiring knowledge of different cultural practices and worldviews. Andrews, 2003. The trip helped me to understand the cultural differences between myself and other students, and it also helped me to understand the living conditions of people in South Africa. I was very grateful I went on the trip, and it made me realise just how lucky we are to have the NHS. So what is the importance of cultural competence? Gemmell et al. 2014 described cultural competence as being an important skill and factor when wishing to become globally ready to work within any industry. The CU corporate strategy states that they will produce global graduates with attributes and capabilities, enabling them to become global professionals and citizens, successfully entering the international work environment. CU Corporate Strategy 2021. I have taken part in the Global Leaders Program at university, which has enabled me to develop leadership and management qualities, and also to understand what I need to become world ready within occupational therapy. Barnett 2010 describes enthusiasm, tolerance, confidence, empathy, care for others, curiosity and energy as being important attributes of somebody who is world ready, and those are attributes that I believe that I possess. So why this matters is that the World Federation of Occupational Therapists 2019 stated that occupational therapists, OTs, around the world are obligated to promote occupational rights as actualization of human rights. Also that OTs are obligated to enact our client-centered aspiration by collaborating with those experiencing abuses and with diverse partners to eradicate abuses that undermine occupational justice. Nationally, the NHS recognises that a definition of quality is clinical effectiveness and patient safety. With an understanding of cultural competence and the attributes that I possess, I believe that I can work effectively in order to keep patients safe in any new career that I undertake. What does this mean for the future of the profession and my future within it? Anayatullah 2007 describes that there are 4 directions in which the future of the profession could go. I'll give you a moment to read those directions. Politically, I myself am a rights-based occupational therapy student. South Africa made me want to protect individuals' rights to occupation, and I'm particularly interested in protecting people from experiencing occupational injustice, such as deprivation or disruption. Whiteford 2007, page 201. So my action plan once I finish university is to support refugees in other countries and use my therapeutic use of self, Panoir and Pelican 2000, to empower others in challenging circumstances, to support the mental health services in whichever new role I undertake, as I am aware of the impact of COVID-19 and what impact that will have on any new role I acquire. I aim to tour with my partnership theatre company, Open Theatre, who work with young people with learning needs, and I wish to shadow them in schools as soon as I am able to do so. I want to acquire a job in the NHS in either neurological services, trauma and orthopaedics, hand therapy, learning needs or wheelchair services. I believe that my values and transferable skills will enable me to work in any of these areas, as I would hope that any of these areas are interested in protecting patients from occupational injustices and also providing quality person-centered care. Thank you for listening to my career narrative.